Summer routines live or die by how easy they are, and honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groones is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at groones.co. That's code PODCAST at gruns.co.
It's the Go Gopher Podcast with Mike Grimm, episode number 220. I am Mike Grimm, voice of the Golden Gophers, and welcome back to the podcast. We're talking Golden Gopher baseball this week as we welcome all Big Ten catcher Weber Neels of Cottage Grove to the podcast for the very first time. We're thrilled to be joined by the star player. He's got a great chance to get drafted this summer. He's got a bright future in baseball. But first things first, the Golden Gophers host Nebraska to close out the regular season this week and are hoping to clinch a spot in the Big Ten tournament. All of that is on the table when we chat with Weber Neels coming up. Our Go Gopher podcast is presented by alumni-owned Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're a business founder planning to exit your business, start by contacting Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Sunbelt serves more businesses up to $5 million in revenue than anyone, and True North M&A serves companies with revenues up to $150 million. Get a confidential, no-cost, no-obligation business valuation started today. Hey, make the most of your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com. Longtime Gopher sports supporter Cub is a proud sponsor of the Go Gopher podcast with Mike Grimm. In a hurry, don't worry, Cub delivers. Get fresh meat, produce, everyday essentials, and more delivered to your door. Cub is the official grocer of the Golden Gophers and proud to support Gopher athletics for over 20 years. Shop happy. The Go Gopher podcast is also presented by onX Maps. Find out how to download the onX Hunt app for free by listening to the Go Gopher podcast. We're podcasting episode 220 from the Aquarius Home Services studio. We invite you to subscribe or follow the Go Gopher podcast. It's free to do so. You can also go back and listen to previous Go Gopher podcast. Last week, for example, we had the great Daryl Thompson on the show. We talked spring football, and our main man DT also issued a challenge for Gopher fans. He needs some help with his outstanding youth mentoring organization, Boulder Options. He'd love some volunteers to be mentors, and you can sign up now. If you missed how to do it and want a chance to help an all-time great Gopher and the community, go back and have a listen to last week's show. This week, we're talking Gopher baseball with star catcher Weber Neels. He'll join me next.
Hey Gopher fans, Jalen Crocker-Johnson here from Minnesota men's basketball. In basketball, wins come from preparation, trust, and executing when it matters the most. That's how True North Mergers and Acquisitions approaches selling your businesses. True North M&A is a local alumni-owned company and a proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics, helping businesses of all sizes make winning moves. Thinking about selling? True North's M&A helps maximize your life's work and close strong in crunch time. Visit tnma.com for confidential conversation.
This is Jim Suhan for TSR Injury Law, 612-TSR-TIME. TSR Injury Law started off as a small business. They are now a large, very successful business because they help people, because they win cases. If you are injured, call 612-TSR-TIME. They will help you out or point you in the right direction. They will not charge you unless they win your case, and they win a lot of cases. We don't want you to need their help. They don't want you to need their help. But if you do need their help, call 612-TSR-TIME.
It's episode 220. We are thrilled to talk Gopher baseball. Always a pleasure for me personally as a baseball guy to talk some hardball. And we have Gopher star senior catcher Weber Neels with us. Weber, your first appearance on the Go Gopher podcast. I know you've been on other podcasts, but here you are in our little studio on campus, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
So it's an exciting time for not just you, but also you and your teammates as we are hitting the final regular season series. Nebraska, nationally ranked, coming into town. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series at Siebert Field. Weather pending. It looks like the weather's going to be all right. Maybe a slight chance of showers Thursday, but man, 80s it sounds like Friday and Saturday. So if you're a baseball fan, this is a chance this weekend to come out and see the Gophers in person for the final time this year. Tickets at Gopher GoldenGopherSports.com, and a lot at stake as well, which we'll get into here with Weber. You are a catcher. You are an all Big Ten player. Take me through, first of all, kind of how you feel your season has gone here, your senior year, on a personal level.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad to be here for 4 years. It's kind of rare nowadays, and to be able to graduate here with a degree and play my 4 years of baseball here has been super special. My parents obviously able to come down and watch me every single year, so built a ton of relationships. Obviously started here with 14, and that whole coaching staff had a great relationship with all them, and Ty and Alec were here as well. And then last year we got Connor and Sean over from their previous schools, and so just being able to meet all those guys, new coaches and new perspectives has been huge. And you know, we've had some success here, and I'm trying to wrap it up here. Make it to the Big Ten tournament and go out on a high note. So.
Yeah, and from a performance or production standpoint, are you happy with kind of, I mean, it looks like every time I'm reading a news release, you've got 3 hits or you've got a home run or you've driven in a couple, so you got to be pleased with how you've produced for your team too.
Yeah, for sure. Any way I can be a guy for our team is what I want to do, and you know, I found some success with the bat this year, and cleaned up some things defensively, but as we get into the last weekend of the Big Ten, you know, schedule, I'm trying to just be the best person I can be, best player I can be for my team, and push us over the edge.
You mentioned from a team standpoint, it's been an interesting year. You guys obviously get to play some games at the Viking Stadium, so you don't have some of the heavy travel, although you did get to, you know, you go to Florida, you played the Twins. There were some cool things there. It looks, and I watched a lot of the games on TV, been to a couple in person. It looks like there was maybe in the middle of that Big Ten schedule just some tough outcomes where all of a sudden now you're fighting.
Yeah.
And I thought, just this is my impression, you tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm maybe on the right track here, all of a sudden you're staring the UCLA series in the face. They're ranked number 1. They're consensus number 1. At that point, I think they'd only lost 3 or 4 games. You go in and lose all 3, but you lead in all 3. I mean, they're tight games, and it seemed like in a weird way, even though you got swept, it might have rejuvenated a little confidence in the group, and from that point, I know you win the series against Washington. Probably should have won the series against Michigan. You know, in terms of this past week, I thought you played pretty good baseball. The Saturday game leaked away late, but you were, you know, leading that, and a couple of weird things happened in the field with that one late as well. But is that? Do you think that, you know, that UCLA series maybe in a weird way boosted some confidence? You go in against the top team in the country.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you get swept is not. You know, you don't really look at that as like a win in any scenario. But, you know, playing the number 1 team in the nation, and they got some dudes over there, and we went out there and expected a challenge, and that's what we got. But we were able to take a lot of things away from that weekend. We found some guys that could play different positions, and some, you know, we got a great staff too. So we got some guys that had to, you know, be put into some high leverage situations, and we figured out who our dudes were. And but yeah, we learned a lot from that weekend, man. Like, there's obviously a lot to take away, a lot to learn from. But I think to see the outcome as it was, like, there's definitely a lot of things that we can, you know, pat ourselves on the back for and move on. But yeah, the Michigan series got away from us a little bit. We came out hot on Friday, and we played, you know, I was talking to my coach about it the other day. Like, we played a baseball game and a half complete, and then kind of, you know, let the second half of those games go by. But as we head into this Nebraska series, it'll be crucial for us to get, you know, 9 innings each day out of everybody, and just see where the scoreboard is after that.
And they're a good team coming in. They have locked up a spot in the Big Ten tournament. And Big Ten tournament's in Omaha, which is always, college baseball, King City, so to speak. That's where the College World Series is, all that stuff. But it's cool that the Big Ten tournament gets to go there too. And, there'll be big crowds and all of that. And your chance to make it, you got to finish top 12. Right now, you're kind of in that thick and fighting for it. I think one win, if you get one this week, you sew it up. If not, then you got to hope for some tiebreakers falling your way. So you want to obviously go try to win one. You want to win the series. But take me through the mentality you and your teammates have as we're recording. It's Wednesday morning, so the day before that series with Nebraska starts against the Big Red here. So what's the mentality for you guys?
We're in a good spot. Obviously, Sunday was tough, and we got to learn to. We got to figure out how to turn the page as quickly as possible, and I think we've done that. The locker room's as tight as ever, and we're all close. Nobody's really drifting away. We realize where we're at in the Big Ten standings. Everybody realizes where we're at, and we're all on the same page of, take it one game at a time. We're going to go out there on Friday and tie our cleats on the same way that we did in Game 1 and go out there and just play Gopher baseball, brand of baseball. And whatever happens after that is just, that's just what happens.
Yeah.
But we're going to go out there and compete at a high level and give it the same intensity as Game 1 and not let this past weekend affect us, obviously. We don't want to lose this series. We don't want to, go out on Friday night and play our best brand of baseball and then, let it go on Saturday and Sunday. But we kind of just let that go, and now we're on to this week. We got a lot of team events that we've had scheduled to stay together, and we're just ready for Thursday night.
They're obviously in baseball, you pitch, you throw, you catch, you hit. Those are the keys. You field the ball, all that stuff. But when this team, you mentioned, put 9 innings together. When this team puts 9 innings together, what are the strengths? What is clicking for this Gopher baseball team when it's 9 innings? Everything.
We're hitting the ball to the park. We're playing small ball. We're running the bases hard. I mean, we got an electric coaching staff that can, coach us through every facet of the game. And we always talk about running downhill as a squad. And when we're running downhill, there's nothing in our way. We're stealing bases. We're hitting doubles. We're hitting home runs and competing over the zone from a pitching standpoint. And Alex done a great job with, getting his pitching staff on board with that same mentality of, when we're running downhill, when we're on the offense, on defense, there's not many teams in the country that can stop us. So
when you're in the thick of the Big Ten season, how much is it about you guys taking care of yourself? Hey, we're just going to put 9 innings together. We're going to catch the ball. We're going to throw the ball, hit the ball, as we said. And then how much is there in terms of a scouting report? Like, how much now do you guys get ready for? Here's what Nebraska brings. Here's kind of, and maybe as a catcher, it's a little more for you because I'm guessing some help comes from the bench and calling pitches, but you also have to figure out, how to handle a pitching staff behind the plate. So take me through week to week and maybe specific this week to Nebraska from that standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, we like to keep it consistent from, the fall, the winter, and into the spring with our scouting reports, with our weekly, repetition and stuff like that. So practices are pretty much just, knocking out, ground balls, fly balls, cuts and relays. Pitchers got to throw some bullpens and stuff like that. So practice kind of stays the same, and, the mentality stays the same as well. And so I'd say, to keep us consistent, we want to just lock in on the same things, realize that this is the last weekend of regular season play and treat it like any other weekend. And so heading into Nebraska, the scout for them is just, they can hit the ball, they can throw the ball, and they're just another team that's going to come in here and try and knock off the Gophers, and we're not going to let them. So. Yeah.
As a guy who has had success certainly hitting, how much do you pay attention to what the Nebraska pitching staff looks like? Well, will you watch video, or are you just up there, dialed in saying, bring it, and I can put the bat to the ball?
Yeah, man. I think I do it a little differently than guys. I don't really, watch a whole bunch of video. I don't really go and dive deep into all the stats and analytics and stuff like some of the guys do. I feel like that can sometimes be more harm than, do more harm than good, because you can get wrapped up in that and then count so much on that or lean so much on the analytics part of the game and watching video and his percentages and whatnot. So I don't really open much video. I'll talk to G before the game, our hitting coach, and Shawnee. I just ask him, like, what's his splits? Yeah. When does he throw? How often does he throw his fastball? What's his velo?
What's his arsenal look like? Probably, right? Yeah.
What's just his spreadsheet? But after that, like, I just go and play and trust my abilities and I trust myself enough to just react and hit the baseball.
Yeah, and it's nice to be at home, as we mentioned, with the big weather. We'll give you a chance here. I'll put it on the tee for you. I know you've been hitting off a tee since you're like 2 years old. So how big would it be to have a lot of Gopher fans here for this final weekend?
Huge, man. I mean, we're lucky enough to have these last two home series at home, where a lot of guys have to go, on the road. And it's special also for senior weekend, too. We can have these last 2 weekends here, so to have Gopher Nation or whatever you want to call it out there for this last weekend would be huge. We already made history with a 30 win season, but we're trying to make some more history, making it to the Big Ten tournament and for the first time in a couple years, and having a lot of people out there would be huge.
Yeah, and getting to Omaha from that standpoint in terms of the Big Ten tournament in your final opportunity to do so, that would be cool, right? I mean, awesome. what a college baseball town, right? The Mecca, really.
It'd be awesome. I haven't been there, and I'd love to get there in my last year, and I know that we got the guys in the locker room to do it. We got the coaching staff to do it, and I think we got most importantly, I think we got the drive and the want to get there. We've been talking about it since day one, and that's been our goal, and I have no doubt that this is the right group for that task. So it'll be an exciting weekend.
Also a little bit of a challenge for Gopher fans to come out and cheer the team on, because Nebraska, they will travel some. So, we don't want a lot of red in the stands. We want maroon and gold in those stands this week, right?
Taking those tickets.
Yeah, take those tickets up. Did you ever go to Omaha to watch? Did you ever play any of the kids' youth tournaments or anything down there?
I've been to Omaha. I've seen the College World Series. I played in, I can't remember, it was like Slump Buster or something.
Yeah, Slump Buster. Yeah.
One of those tournaments when I was younger.
Probably when you were 14. I think it's a 14-year-old.
Probably.
I took my son down to that one too.
Yeah, we played it, or you stayed in like the barracks or whatever.
Yeah.
So we all stayed in like, I don't know, this small room, and we all stayed together. But yeah, I was able to go watch them. I think Coastal Carolina won it that year. But super awesome experience. I got to play there. We played Creighton there in a midweek.
Yeah.
I think my freshman year. But just a crazy environment, super cool. There's so much history at that field. But we're all pulling to get there and get to the Big Ten tournament. So
no doubt. All right, so gophersports.com gets you tickets for Thursday and Friday and Saturday. Always check, because you just never know with baseball, softball, sometimes with weather and different things, as the schedule can shift. Weather looks good for now, knock on wood. So 5 o'clock Thursday, 5 o'clock Friday, and 1 o'clock on Saturday. Real quick, let me talk about one of our sponsors. We want to thank OnX Hunt. They've been on board with us now for several years, and it's spring here in Minnesota. It's always busy. Baseball's in full swing. Spring football just wrapped up. And somehow a lot of you are still finding time to get out in the woods chasing turkeys and such. And if you're going to squeeze in that hunt between games that you're watching, you better know where you can and should go. It's the OnX Hunt app. It shows you public land, private land boundaries, access points, and it's all on your phone. So you can make the most of every window you've got this spring. Download OnX Hunt wherever you find your apps and start your free 7-day trial. It's OnX Hunt. Know where you stand with OnX Hunt.
Know what happy is? Veggies. Crunchy, crispy, colorful, seasonal, aromatic, juicy veggies. Produce at its freshest. Cub produce. Best produce, period. Guaranteed to make you happy, or we'll replace it. No questions asked. Because good produce makes veggie lovers happy. Just remember, fresh, happy. Stale, limp, and wilted, not happy. You want to make a veggie lover happy? Shop Cub for produce and shop happy.
Hey Gopher fans, Bobby Durkin here from Minnesota Men's Basketball. In our program, championship culture is built on toughness, trust, and showing up every day to do the work. That's why I'm proud to support the True North family of companies. True North invests in elite teams, like the championship team at True North Mergers and Acquisitions, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and their family of independently owned companies, visit thetruenorthfamily.com. That's how champions are built.
Weber Neels is our guest, senior catcher, Golden Gophers, episode 220. I want to talk more now with you on kind of a personal level with baseball. Your family, you've got some hierarchy with baseball. Your grandfather played minor league ball. Your dad was a college player at Minnesota State Mankato. I mentioned you've been hitting off a tee. I saw the little feature that BTN did with you and your dad. Pete was talking about you were getting a little mad with him because he's, I think if I'm paraphrasing right, your dad said you were hitting off the tee when you were 2 or 3 years old. You wanted to hit some more. Your dad said, I've been here long enough. You threw the ball at him. He threw it back, so it wasn't off the tee, and you're 2 years old, and you hit it. Yeah. And he's like, okay, we might have a skill set here. So you've been playing baseball literally since you can walk. You and your dad have a unique relationship. He still throws to you. Is it every Monday, I think I saw in that feature, and helps you out. So how cool is that for you?
Man, it's awesome. I mean, we gel on so many different things, and baseball just happens to be the sport that I play. But we do so much. We do so much together. We hunt, we fish, we do so much. We work on the house.
You need the Onyx Hunt app too, then.
I got that app. I got that app.
Very nice. Yeah.
No, I love that app.
Yeah. Onyx Hunt, Onyx Fish, Onyx Maps. You got it. So you guys have meshed that way from all the way back. Did he coach you through some youth baseball too?
Yeah. He was my coach. Ever since pretty much until I got to high school. Club ball, high school, or not high school ball, but just like rec ball or whatever, little league and stuff like that. But yeah, man, having him is huge as a baseball player, but also just I'm 22 years old now, and just having him as a friend is huge. I can go to him for anything, and he'll throw to me whenever I need, and he'll tell me what I need to hear versus what I want to hear, and that's how you get better as a baseball player, but as a man too. So I love my pops, and my mom's, I got to give a shout out to my mom too. Like, she's been able to keep me in check too. When I get a little rough around the edges, she's able to soften me up a little bit and remind me that, before a baseball player, you're still, you got to be a good person. And, happy Mother's Day to you, Mom.
Yeah, no, absolutely, no doubt about it. That's pretty cool. Your dad in that video said that you and he will always play catch. He actually got choked up a little talking about the Field of Dreams, which is it's a meaningful movie to me as well. I grew up in Iowa, about 20 minutes from where that field is. So,
nice.
The Twins are playing down there this summer. I'm hoping to get back to watch the Twins down there, which would be kind of cool. But it's an awesome. Have you guys been down there?
Never been down. I've never seen Field of Dreams. I'd love to go.
Yeah, you've seen the movie though.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I've never not Field of Dreams in person.
Yeah.
I've seen the movie plenty of times, and that's one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite baseball movie.
Yeah, same. My dad and I played catch. Much like you, I was looking. Your dad, I think it said in the bio that he played baseball at Minnesota State Mankato through 93. So he and I got to be the same age. I graduated from 93 playing college baseball at Luther College down in Iowa. So throwing batting practice to my son. So it kind of hit home with me a little bit watching. Now my son's 26 now, so he's a little older. Ty McDevitt, when he was in high school, was giving my son lessons out at Cages in Burnsville, and now he's the head coach of you guys here with the Gophers, which is pretty cool.
I'm sure we crossed paths once in a while back then. Yeah, because I was always at the Cages with Ty. And
no doubt about it. Then I'm sure what a great family with all of what they have done with baseball over the years and club and sports and different things. But I can recall when we were when my son was young, we had an unfinished basement at the time, so we would throw tennis balls down there. I mean, it wasn't a huge basement. We had dents. We've since moved from that house, but we had dents on the ductwork because I would keep pitching. And much like what your dad said, because when you're a baseball guy like me, I'm a ball guy, and you have a son and a daughter too, but whatever, you're like, gosh, I hope he likes baseball. I never pushed him into it. We lived in St. Louis at the time, and so he was a big Albert Pujols guy, and that's a baseball town. We moved up here in 2006, and throwing baseball, I'm like, man, this is great. He loves baseball. We're throwing baseball, tennis balls in the basement, and I always said, this is a dream come true. I'll never get sick of throwing to him, but he just was relentless. Like, I'm like, dude, we got to stop. He's like, no, we can't stop. And so I got a kick out of watching that video because some of that was kind of struck in a chord with me too in terms of how that has helped. We coached Buddy and I coached those kids up through 15, same way when they hit club and then into high school as well. So it's pretty cool. And your dad said, we'll always play catch. Field of Dreams is your favorite movie. You got a little emotional, so that's kind of cool too.
Yeah. No, I love that movie, and Big Ten did a great job on that special. But I think the one thing that you're talking about is like you never had to force your son to play. He was always the one that wanted to do it, and that was the same thing. Like my dad would always ask, like, hey, you want to go hit? Like I'd always have the choice to say yes or no, and it was always yes. And so whenever I wanted to go, like he was always on board with it because it was my decision. You never forced it on me. You never pushed it. The one thing he did force was like, if you're gonna do it, like you better do it with full intent.
Yes.
You're not gonna half-ass this thing.
Yeah,
so,
exactly right.
That's the thing that he did force. But like the whole physical stuff, like going and swinging and just getting reps in, never forced that. But it was always the mentality, like how you're going to do it. If you're gonna do it. So. Yeah, that was a cool special that they did, and it'll be cool to have that.
Yeah,
for
and
years to come,
you can watch it on. I think the Gopher Sports webpage has it on the baseball page. You can find it on BTN. Just do a search. It's about a 6-minute feature. I'm sure they talked to everybody longer than that, but it was a pretty cool piece.
Yeah.
You in that piece were holding a autographed baseball. So take me back to it's what, a 60-some-year-old baseball where your grandpa played baseball for the Milwaukee Braves, and this is signed by some guys. So tell that story.
So a little bit of the story is my grandpa played for the Milwaukee Braves in their system. I'm not really there's not much history on him like online or in the books and stuff, but he played with Warren Spahn, Hank Aaron, and was on that team, and he was 18, 19, 20 years old, but was in Missouri for spring training because that's where they did spring training. Back then, they didn't get to go all the way down south to Florida, where the Twins are now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was pitching, and they had him hit. This was back when you just didn't get a DH for everything, and so he was facing the Yankees, and he got hit by a pitch in his 3 pitching fingers and shattered all 3 of them. And from what I've heard, it was a pretty gruesome scene, and so the entire Yankees organization or team signed that baseball. So you got Lou Gehrig and Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle, like everybody's on. Yogi Berra's on that ball, and so we've had that in our family for a long time, and it's just it's a pretty special piece of our family and our family history. And so we're not sure if we want to just keep it in our household or send it off to a museum or something like that. But I mean, it's pretty dang cool.
Man, that's insane. And you think too, back then, if medical technology was what it was now, they probably fix his hand.
Yeah.
But back then, it probably messed it up to where he, you lose the grip or whatever. Right.
Yeah, and they wanted to, from what I've heard, they wanted to transition him into shortstop, so he ended up getting traded to the Pirates. But then before that, he was just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And so hung him up and went on to be a school teacher and then moved the entire family up north to the Northwoods of Wisconsin, and that's where they're at now. So
that's where they're at. And you're in Minnesota here with you and your family. East Ridge High School for you. In your bio, and I'll hit you this, ambush you with this question. Your bio online, it says your sister Monica plays high school volleyball and hopes to play in college. Now, I don't know if that is from when you were a freshman here, if this has been updated recently. So can you give us an update?
That has not been updated in quite some time. Monica, she played successful volleyball in high school, and she's out in Colorado now. She's actually the president of the biggest ski club in America, Boulder Freeride out in Colorado Boulder, and so she no longer plays volleyball, but she's doing great things
That's pretty cool.
Off the court.
Yeah.
So, but she's having some fun out there.
Skiing, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, she's skiing. I mean, I was talking to her the other day, and it's 70 degrees here, and she's out there skiing in Colorado right now. But it's also 70 degrees out there, so she's skiing with just a T-shirt on up on the mountain.
Well, yeah, because they just, when the Wild were out there, right? Or was it the Wolves? I can't remember because I guess they're both playing Colorado. They had the big snowstorm at one point.
Well, that's
like
when,
recent, right?
like last week, that's when she called me. She's like, we just got 2 feet of snow. So,
Man.
But yeah, not playing volleyball anymore, but she's definitely having her fair share of fun out in Colorado. She's on her way home right now, so she'll be here this weekend to watch the games at against Nebraska, and she'll be able to walk with me on senior day, and that's huge for me because she's just a big part of my life. So
yeah, that's pretty sweet. And you mentioned senior day, and you mentioned that even in your 4 years, how the landscape of college athletics in general has switched. Where I think it, for obviously a long time, you graduate 6'8" seniors, 6'8" high schoolers come in, and that basically is the roster turnover. That's not the case anymore, even in your time here. Now you've got guys who maybe their fit's not here, maybe they got passed over on the depth chart, maybe they don't like it, who knows, and they transfer out, new guys come in. So there's more, maybe 10, 15 guys a year now coming and going combined. And so you mentioned the 4 years was important. And even last year, right? I mean, you probably could, once it was apparent you're coming back to play college baseball with your skill set and your pedigree, you could have gone somewhere else and played. You could have gone to the SEC, but it seems important that you wanted to finish being a Gopher.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was talking to my parents about it last week. Like, loyalty's rare nowadays, and I pride myself in that, in my loyalty, and I committed to Ty. I committed to 14 when I came here, and I want to stay true to that. I want to see this thing through. So to be able to graduate my 4 years here and play my 4 years of college baseball as a Gopher has been huge, and I wouldn't want to play it anywhere else. And I mean, like the seniors, when I was a freshman, we had a class of 8 or 9 guys come in, and then 8 seniors left. And same with my sophomore year, and then last year, I mean, we had a lot of seniors last year. It was just different, and not many freshmen came in. So it's a completely different landscape, and now this whole 5-for-5 thing's gonna change it all again. But from a personal level, I'm proud and happy that I could say that I was able to be here for my 4 years, and made a ton of relationships. And when I have kids someday, like excuse me, that's one of the things that I'm gonna say to them, like, I stayed loyal. You got to stay loyal, man.
100%,
and
right?
Because people people invest so much time and effort and money into you, and you don't want to have your parents go chasing you down and come watch you play when they invested so much money into you, traveling for club ball, traveling for high school ball and stuff like that, for them to be able to come and watch me play, and it's 30 minutes away, like, for 4 years, rather than having to get a plane ticket. Like, I take that, man.
No doubt. And, it's fun. Like, so let's talk about some of the guys you'll be walking with on senior day. You mentioned that, I mean, that's friends for life, no doubt about it. In fact, I mean, just again, not to believe, I don't even want to do the math. I know your dad in the bio said he played through 93. I played through 93. The first weekend of May at Luther, where I played, they had it was the alumni weekend. So 2 teammates and I from all those years ago, 30 plus, we spent the weekend together.
Yeah.
So all those years later, one lives in Des Moines, one lives in Streator, Illinois, and I live in Minnesota. And we met there and spent the weekend, and it was like time stood still.
Yeah.
We're going, hey, we used to go to that bar, or hey, that was Maeve's Pizza. We're gonna, which is the legendary place there. And it was like we were 22 again, or 21 again. So you'll have that. Who are some guys that you're gonna walk with that are gonna be those guys for you? You think down the road?
So there's 2 guys on this team that I've been with, since I was a freshman, and that's Caden Capamachu and Sam Hunt, and they've been 2, extraordinary human beings off the field. Obviously, great players on the field, but better men off the field, and so I'll be able to walk with them, and it's special to be able to have at least 1 or 2 guys that I came in with to walk with and share that moment with, because they see it as I see it. Like, you got to stay loyal, and both those guys have. And so some of the other guys, like, a lot of the other guys have been, our 1-year transfers. But over this course of the year, I've gotten real close with them, and it'll be special for them to be able to wrap it up as a Gopher.
Yeah,
so
they get to say they'll always be a Gopher, which is
right.
nice. Yeah.
That's right.
A year ago at this time, your plan wasn't to be playing Gopher baseball. Your plan was to be playing pro baseball somewhere. For whatever reason, the baseball gods didn't look at it that way. A year later now, as you look back on it, I think I heard you in another podcast say that maybe it was a blessing in disguise. God has a plan.
For sure.
Is that how you look at it now?
I always look at it like that, man. Like, God's got a plan for me, and getting drafted and playing professional baseball last year wasn't in the cards, and I serve a bigger purpose here as a senior, or I believe I serve a bigger purpose here as a senior than I would have, had somebody took a flyer on me last year. But obviously last year was, it hurt.
Yeah.
But I've come to terms with it and realized, like, I'm gonna be the best man I can be, best player I can be, best teammate I can be this year as a senior, and hopefully, continue to create an impact as a senior. But, as I sit here a year ago, or a year, after that conversation or whatever, I still have the same mindset. Like, God has a plan, and I trust it, and I'm not really worried about it. Like, whatever happens in July is going to happen, and if God has that in His plan for me, then I'm all for it. But if He doesn't, I'm still going to be a good person and find a way, wherever that is, whether that's on the baseball field or coaching or whatever it is. But I'm just lucky to be here, and like I said, my loyalty and with Ty and the rest of the coaching staff is, I trust that they're going to help me out in any way possible, whether it's on the field or not. So,
did and I the mindset seems you're going to be where your feet are, and that's good. Did you get feedback last year from anyone to say, hey, here's why, and here's what we'd like to see you work on for maybe this season, and then looking into the July draft this year at all? And if so, what were those things?
Yeah, obviously everybody's going to give you some feedback. And honestly, like, after the last pick was, drawn or called, I called all the contacts that I had and, just asked them, like, hey, I'm already looking towards next year. Like, what can I do? What can I improve upon? And I'm not going to really get into the specifics, but, everything that, I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and everything that was said, I know for a fact that I've improved upon that this year. And so that's really all you can do.
Right.
And take the feedback and run with it and do your best to work on it. And I believe that I did that. And so if somebody else that, is making a lot more money than I do believes that, then, I think that I got a good shot, and they're going to get lucky to get Weber Neels in their organization.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it. Well, I know that your final few weeks here, you'd like to get this team to Omaha following this weekend down for the Big Ten tournament, and then see where the chips fall, right? You guys have a pitching staff. You never know. Make some noise in Omaha if you get there, right?
Right. Yeah, we got a lot of guys. We got a full bullpen, and it's going to kind of be all hands on deck this weekend. We got to squeeze one across, and I know we can, whether it's Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. But everybody in that bullpen and everybody in our dugout is going to play a role this weekend, and I know that they'll be ready. So
yeah, well, very good, man. Awesome chat. Great to get to see you in person and get to know you a little better. You and your dad will have to make it down to Dyersville, Iowa, to the Field of Dreams sometime.
Oh, we will.
It's so cool. You'll love it. And continued success, man. Good luck.
Thank
this
you.
week.
Appreciate it. Go Gophers.
All right, there he is, Weber Neels, Gopher Catcher. It's episode number 220.
My thanks to Gopher Catcher Weber Neels for being my guest this week on the Go Gopher Podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to our conversation as much as I enjoyed being a part of it. Episode 220 is presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're buying or selling a business, visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com. Cub is a proud proud supporter of Gopher Athletics for over 20 years and a proud sponsor of the Go Gopher podcast. Cub, bigger savings on the items you love. Shop happy. OnX Hunt also sponsors our show, Happy Hunting from OnX Maps. Again, I'd invite you to listen to past podcasts, and please right now click that subscribe or follow button to the Go Gopher podcast. It's free to subscribe, free to follow, and free to listen at any time. And please share the link to the podcast with others so they can subscribe, follow, and listen as well. And if you enjoyed the podcast, give us some positive feedback on your social media channels. We'll talk again next week.
Know what the happiest bird is? Chicken. Cub fried chicken. Wait, let me rephrase that. Know what bird makes people happiest? Cub fried chicken. Crispy, crunchy, juicy, perfectly seasoned. It's the kind of chicken that disappears faster than you can say, 8-piece, please. Or, let's be real, maybe 12-piece. Because when it comes to fried chicken, more just means more happy. So if you're shopping chicken, shop Cub fried chicken and shop happy.